Blessings, friends, and welcome back to High Kadosh Ministries, where holiness is a lifestyle and Jesus Christ is truly King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Well, today is January the 5th of 2017, and this is One a Day for the Soul. Now, our text today is going to be out of Galatians chapter 5, verse 16 and 17. So let's read together. This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusts against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that you cannot do the things that you would. Now basically what this text tells us is that the flesh is at war with the Spirit, and the Spirit is at war with the flesh. The things the flesh wants to do, the Spirit doesn't want to do. The things that the Spirit wants to do, the flesh doesn't want to do. If you would like to challenge that, all you have to do is go on a 3-day fast. You'll find out how resistant the flesh is for the things of the Spirit. Or sit down and try to attempt to read an entire book of the Bible in one sitting, be it a small book like Ephesians or Galatians, or even a large book like Job maybe, or Matthew. You're going to find that the Spirit is at war with the flesh, and the flesh resists these things. Get down on your hands and knees and begin to talk to the Almighty. Make yourself transparent and exposed before Him. Allow yourself to be read by Him. And just watch how much the flesh resists these things. It's so easy to occupy ourselves with the things of the flesh. Entertainment, movies, music. We'll sit for hours. Sometimes people will go on movie binges and sit there and watch movie after movie after movie after movie. But we can't pick our Bibles up and read 2 or 3 chapters of our Bibles in one sitting. That should make a light go off in our heads and make us wonder. You know, it's almost like this. We're like fish in water. If you took a fish out of water and put him on land, it's absolutely foreign to him. He doesn't know what to do. I mean, certainly he can't breathe, but even if he could breathe, he wouldn't know what to do. He would want to get back in the water because that's what his natural environment is. Well, it's the same way with you and I. This is our natural environment. This is where we live. And so when we try to move away from this environment, we try to walk in the Spirit, like the text tells us in verse 16, walk in the Spirit, and you will not fulfill the lust of the flesh. That's exactly what we're doing. We're trying to be fish out of water. But I'll promise you, the more that you live in that environment, the more natural it will become to you. And eventually you will become so consumed by that environment, when you jump back into the water doesn't even feel right anymore. And that's exactly how it is with us as the people of God. We live in this world, but we're not of this world. And that's what it says in verse 17. It says, so that you cannot do the things that you would, the things that you want to. Why? Because your natural flesh craves and desires these things, and your spirit desires things that are in absolute opposition to the things of the flesh. So I challenge you today, take a notebook. And as you go throughout the course of your day, note the things that your flesh desires to do. Simple things like maybe pass someone in the passing lane. And instead of doing that, sit behind the person and go 5 miles an hour slower. Go 10 miles an hour slower. And watch how it drives your flesh crazy. And then even with more simple things, write down how your spirit, there may be times throughout your day where the Spirit says, why don't you just take a moment and talk to the Father? It doesn't have to be anything big. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. And watch how lost you feel in obeying that urge, that desire that the Spirit is prodding you toward. And then at the end of the day, go back and see how tempted you were to act upon the things of the flesh, and how much you were tempted to act upon the things of the Spirit. When you were motivated to follow the flesh and fulfill the desires of the flesh, and when you were motivated to fulfill the desires of the Spirit. And just compare the two of them. Might be an interesting task, and you may be surprised by the results. Well, friends, I love you. I hope this inspired you to walk closer to the Savior today. And until tomorrow, may Yahweh bless you and keep you. And as He wills, I'll see you on the next video.